Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I wanted to share a video on some favourite recipes I've had on repeat. Food prep I've been restocking my kitchen with. Now these aren't meals as such, hence calling this food prep as opposed to meal prep. And they include this triple almond breakfast granola with a cherry and vanilla compote. This warming, healing, golden spiced latte blend which you can enjoy either hot or iced. And these unbelievably gooey almond butter and dark chocolate oat cookies, which I just know you're gonna love. So to make this cherry and vanilla compote, I first placed 2 cups of frozen cherries into a pan on a medium heat and just brought them to a gentle simmer. Once they'd warmed through and softened, I used the back of the spatula to gently mash them down. Next, I added in a tablespoon of chia seeds, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup and the juice of half a lemon, and stirred everything through before leaving it to continue simmering. For the vanilla, you can use essence, but I prefer vanilla bean paste or an actual vanilla pod. I just run the back of the knife down the vanilla pod, then slice it open lengthways and gently run the back of the knife through the pod to collect up all of the vanilla seeds. I added the vanilla seeds to the pan and stirred everything through again, then removed the pan from the heat and allowed it to cool right down, and as it cools it will thicken from the chia seeds. I make my own jams with chia seeds, so I would say that this is somewhere between a jam and a compote. I store this in an airtight clip top jar and keep it in the fridge and then use it up within a week. And this pairs perfectly with the next recipe, my triple almond granola. To start with, I roughly chopped half a cup of whole almonds, although I left some whole just to add texture to this. I then added 3 cups of rolled oats, not porridge oats, rolled oats, into a mixing bowl, then added in the chopped almonds and also half a cup of flaked almonds with a good pinch of flaky sea salt. I mixed that together. Apologies for the terrible focus here, but in a separate bowl I then mixed up half a cup of smooth almond butter with 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup and 1/4 of a cup of melted coconut oil, and just stirred that together until nice and runny, and then poured it into the dry mix in the bigger bowl. I mixed everything through to coat well. I then just spread the granola out onto a large baking tray evenly, and I'd preheated my oven to 200 degrees Celsius. So I placed that into bake for around 25 to 30 minutes until it comes out nice and golden in colour. And amongst the loose granola you get these lovely big oaty clusters. Again, I store this in an airtight jar and keep it somewhere cool and dry and use that up within a week. My absolute favourite way to eat this is with some creamy coconut yogurt, a couple of spoonfuls of the granola on top, and then also paired with the cherry and vanilla compote. I sometimes add on some seeds, but it's just the most delicious breakfast, full of flavour, crunchy almond and oat clusters, the creamy coconut yogurt which has live cultures, and the sweet and juicy cherry compote. It's so quick and easy to throw together in the mornings once all the prep has been done. Then if you want to take it a step further and prep the food prep, you can also layer this up in a jar like a parfait, starting with the cherry and vanilla compote at the bottom, then the coconut yogurt and the granola on top. This way the granola does soften being on top of the wet ingredients, but it goes the most delicious chewy texture. And these are great if you're in a hurry in the morning, if you want to take it on the go, or just to simply enjoy it already layered up and prepared. Moving on to this golden spiced latte mixture. I'd actually been buying a pre-mixed version and then realised how much cheaper and easier it would probably be to make myself. For this I just combined 4 tablespoons of ground cinnamon with 3 tablespoons of ground ginger, a tablespoon of ground cardamom, a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, half a teaspoon of ground cloves and half a teaspoon of turmeric. You can store this in an airtight jar, give it a good shake to combine the spices, or just stir them together. And then to make this into a drink, I personally prefer it made with soy milk. So I heat up my soy milk with a teaspoon of this and I sweeten it with around a tablespoon of maple syrup when serving. Now, because a lot of these spices aren't soluble, you get a sediment in the bottom of the glass. Either you can strain it through a fine sieve or even a cheesecloth, though you'll probably still get some settle at the bottom of the cup. So I just drink it with a spoon to hand and just give it a stir every now and then. I also love it with some extra warm, frothy soy milk on the top and a sprinkle of cinnamon. It's kind of spicy from the ginger and the black pepper, but it's so warming and feels so healing and just absolutely delicious. Lastly, I've been obsessed with these cookies. I really don't enjoy baking too much, but when it's stripped down to really simple ingredients, I'm on board. For these, I first chopped 75 grams of good quality dark chocolate. I used 70% dark chocolate and just roughly chopped it up into chunks. I then mashed a banana as smoothly as possible, and to that I added 1/3 cup of smooth almond butter and then half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, half a teaspoon of baking powder and a good pinch of flaky sea salt. Mixed that together. I then added in half a cup of porridge oats and stirred those through before then adding in the majority of the chocolate chunks and just mixing them in. I then divided that by 4, moulded the cookies into even sized rounds and placed them on a lined baking sheet, then popped them in the preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius to bake for 25 minutes until golden and gooey. When I take them out, I just place them on a cooling rack to cool down slightly, and once cool you can then store them in an airtight jar. I prefer to keep these fresh, stored in the fridge, and use them up within 3 days. You can also enjoy them with the remaining chocolate chunks melted and drizzled over the top with a sprinkle of flaky sea salt. And I cannot tell you how Moorish they are. Sweetened with the banana, there's the warmth from the cinnamon, the oats go so chewy, and then there's those little bites of those rich dark chocolate chunks. If you try one recipe from this video, make sure it's these cookies, especially with the dark chocolate drizzle and the salt sprinkles on the top. I cannot get enough of them. I really hope you enjoyed this video. As always, all of the recipes are written in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.